Plastic. Since its boom in popularity in the mid to late 1900s, it's become an almost essential part of our everyday lives. We use it constantly, from fishing nets to food packaging, helmets to protect our heads, and straws to drink from. It seems to be one of the best materials ever invented. Plastic in itself is made by refined raw materials that are treated with heat and combined to create polymers. These synthetic polymers form a chain, which is then able to be melted down and shaped in any form needed. It's durable, stainless, and strong. At first, the production of this malleable material seemed like a fantastic discovery that would change our world for the better, making life easier for us. It has in fact made life easier for us humans, but not for the environment as it turns out. Plastic lasts forever. Every piece of plastic ever created is still unearthed in some form or another today. That's 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic. It's a man-made, unnatural substance, and it's proved to be detrimental to our marine life. 10 million tons of plastic is dumped into our beautiful oceans each year. 50% of these plastics are single-use. By definition, single-use plastics are goods made primarily from fossil fuel-based chemicals. They're meant to be disposed of immediately after use. In most cases, their lifespan of usage is mere minutes, only to be discarded in a bin, on a pathway, or in the ocean, where their lifespan as rubbish extends to forever. In this second life, single-use plastics and the rest of their plastic friends kill over 1 million marine animals annually. 100,000 of these animals are mammals, such as whales, dolphins, turtles, and seals, just to name a few. So, why should you care? Why should you worry about the destructive impact of plastics on our marine life? And is there a sustainable alternative to polluting our oceans?
Is plastic really necessary in our daily lives? Approximately 335 metric tons of plastic were produced globally in the year 2016 alone, half of which being single-use. This is an issue everywhere, even at the Sunshine Coast, where a plastic bag, which could potentially be 40 years old, was discovered in a local waterway. In an attempt to mitigate this developing issue, actions have been taken, such as banning single-use plastic bags and the container refund scheme, with hefty fines of approximately $6,300 if companies refuse to comply.
Plastic is used to make human life more efficient, and many daily used items are made from plastic. These items include straws, water bottles, bags, individually wrapped food such as lollies, packaging, coffee cups, and many others. Massive amounts of plastic have been found in waterways and the ocean, impacting wildlife. There is an expanding population of microplastics coming into play with the marine wildlife. Many of these microplastics are being consumed by marine invertebrates and vertebrates, which cause death and health problems such as suffocation, starvation, drowning, and entanglement from fishing nets, lines, and more. Straws are a major used plastic item and most are commonly found around Australia, alongside the rest of the world. 10 million straws daily are used by Australians, which cause 3.5 billion straws to be used every year. Out of over 7,000 reported plastics, straws make up to 7.5% of rubbish collected in the last cleanup day, collected by the organisation Clean Up Australia Day. An average of 130 kilograms of plastic is used per Australian every year, with 130,000 tonnes of plastic going into Australian waterways and eventually into the ocean, and only 9% of this is recycled. The CSIRO has estimated that the amount of microplastics on the seafloor is 14 million tonnes. 6.9 billion plastic bags, with 3.6 billion being plastic shopping bags. And if you then took the 6.9 billion plastic bags and tied them together, they would go around the world almost 43 times. Every year, 72.99 pounds of durable plastics, 6.75 pounds of plastic cups and plates, 6.50 pounds of plastic trash bags, 28.22 pounds of other non-durable plastics, 17.77 pounds of plastic bottles and jars, 4.97 pounds of natural bottles,
8.98 pounds of plastic cleaning packaging, 24.27 pounds of plastic bags, sacks and wraps, 28.98 pounds of other plastic packaging, 19.24 pounds of rubber tyres, and 22.29 pounds of other rubber is used by the average person.
Now, it is so hard to believe single-use plastics account for more than half of the 300 million tons of plastic made every year. This statistic may make it seem like it is impossible to minimize the impact of plastic on wildlife. However, there are many possible solutions that anyone can implement to help reduce waste in everyday life. Many people justify plastic use because, it's just one straw. But that one straw builds up into millions, and it's the same with plastic bags, cups, and packaging. Even the global pandemic created another form of waste, masks, while also adding on to already massive amounts of plastic being discarded.
Before lockdown, we found that people were throwing away about 99 pieces of plastic in a single week. However, during lockdown, we found that 128 pieces of plastic were being thrown away by households, which is a difference of around 25 to 30%. The single-use masks also create many problems within the waterways. 30 masks had washed up on an uninhabited island in the middle of nowhere, and on a beach 100 meters long, there were 70 masks found washed up. Many of the impacts on wildlife can be minimized if more people did a few simple things. Even plastic itself can be replaced by processed seaweed membrane, which is completely edible, dissolvable, and biodegradable. This alternative is biodegradable within 4 to 6 weeks compared to the several hundred years it takes for traditional plastics. Simple things like switching to non-plastic alternatives, for example, mesh bags and reusable shopping bags, bamboo cutlery and straws, and reusable cups and containers. Only buy single-use plastic if absolutely necessary, not because it's convenient. While also doing simple things like cutting the straps of masks and cutting the rings on milk bottles to prevent entanglement and strangulation of animals. Recycling when possible, or even keeping things like plastic bags to reuse could help reduce the amount of plastic-related deaths in the wildlife exponentially.
Sea turtles eat plastic bags and other types of marine debris, usually plastics. They can get what's called gut impaction. And gut impaction is where the gut itself starts to become necritic or dies off. And of course, with that dying off process, it can no longer digest anything.
To conclude, plastic has manifested the ocean and marine life has suffered the detrimental impacts, all for the benefit of humans. Only recently have we, as a society, come to the realization that this issue will linger for centuries to come and have unimaginable and irreversible effects on our ecosystems. Over 8 billion metric tons of plastic, some recorded as over 40 years old, still litters the sea floor, making it an easy target for marine vertebrates to ingest. In many cases, such as the marine turtle, it can take only 14 pieces of plastic to cause death, with 22% of sea turtles dying from ingesting one piece of marine debris. Seabirds also have a high chance of death from ingesting any piece of plastic as small as 2 to 10 millimeters, making plastic in our oceans highly lethal. As stated, previous methods have been implemented, such as the ban on single-use plastic bags in Queensland in 2018, and upcoming methods including the ban of single-use cutlery, straws, plates, and polystyrene foam food containers in September 2021. However, this does not resolve the issue, meaning more must be done. So how do we help? Being conscious of our everyday plastic use and starting to change over what we use can have a great impact on the amount of plastics affecting our marine ecosystem. If, as a society, we started using items such as bamboo utensils, glass containers, material masks, and reusable bags, we could save the oceans from devastating harm. It's as easy as that. So will you help society make the change?